All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on the United Arab Emirates. We're going to look past the glitzy skyscrapers and really analyze the ruthlessly efficient machine that powers the whole thing. And you'll see it operates far less like a traditional country and much more like a massive global corporation. And this really gets to the heart of it. If you think the UAE is rich just because of oil, you're stuck in the past. Look, lots of countries have oil, but very few treated it like venture capital. While other nations became cautionary tales, just completely over-reliant on it, the Emirates, they used their oil money as seed funding for complete and total economic reinvention. And here's the result of that reinvention. Almost 57%. That's how much of the UAE's GDP comes from the non-oil sector now. And get this, in Dubai, it's even more dramatic. Oil is less than 5% of their economy. This was no accident. This was a deliberate, aggressive pivot. So if it's not oil, what exactly is this new engine built on? Okay, Section 1, the oil delusion. Before we get into how the machine works, we have to get rid of this idea that it's all built on oil. It's just not true. You know, finding oil is like coming to a fork in the road. On one path, you have countries like Venezuela or Nigeria. They were blessed with oil, but, well, look at them now. Total instability. Then there's the other path, the UAE model. They took their oil windfall, and instead of just spending it, they invested it. They built world-class infrastructure, they pushed for diversification, and they turned themselves into a global hub for everything. Finance, logistics, tourism. You see, the oil was never the end goal. It was just the fuel to start the real engine. Which brings us to Section 2, the outsourced state. So, here's the secret to their post-oil success. It's a pretty radical idea about how you run a country. Basically, you run it like a corporation, and you staff it with the best talent you can find from anywhere in the world. And when I say global talent, I mean it. Just look at this breakdown. It is absolutely staggering. Almost 90% of the people living in the UAE are expats. But here's the crucial part. You shouldn't think of them as migrants in the typical sense. They are, for all intents and purposes, hired employees. The entire workforce, from the construction site all the way up to the C-suite, is imported. And this is where the corporate analogy stops being an analogy and becomes a literal reality. The government acts like a global headhunting firm. They find the best minds from London, Singapore, New York, wherever, to run their most important sectors. Why? Because results matter more than your passport. The whole system is laser-focused on one thing, meeting key performance indicators, KPIs. And this is what we mean by a model without illusions. It is a very clear hierarchy. Just look at the wage gap. A manager can make over 20 times what a low-skill worker does. This system was never designed for quality. It was designed for one thing, to pay for performance in a brutally efficient tiered structure. For these staff employees, the contract is brutally simple. Perform, and you get a tax-free salary and a great life. But if you fail to deliver, if you break your contract or break the law, you're on the next flight home, period. There are no unions, there are no strikes. Your job security is tied directly and only to your performance. It is a system of pure, cold efficiency. All right, Section 3, the security algorithm. Now, if you're a corporation trying to attract the world's best talent and a whole lot of capital, you need one thing above all else, stability. And the UAE has engineered that stability with an almost digital precision. Anyone who's been to Dubai or Abu Dhabi talks about this feeling of absolute safety. You know, the kind of place where you can leave your phone on a table and walk away without a second thought. But here's the thing. This isn't some happy cultural accident. It is the calculated result of a very meticulously designed system. So how do they do it? It's basically a three-step formula. Step 1, total surveillance. We're talking a nationwide network of AI-powered cameras doing facial and even iris scanning. Step 2, zero tolerance. The laws are strict and they are enforced rigorously, no exceptions. And step 3, this is the most powerful part, especially for that 89% of the population, the ultimate consequence, deportation. For an expat, a criminal conviction doesn't just mean jail time, it means you lose everything. Your job, your visa, your entire life there is gone. And, well, the results speak for themselves. The crime index in the UAE is incredibly low, down around 14. Now, compare that to a major city like London or San Francisco. It's not even close. It turns out that the fear of losing your access to the corporation is a much more powerful deterrent than just the threat of a jail cell. Okay, Section 4, the world's middlemen. So you've got an efficient outsourced workforce, you've got total security. The final piece of the puzzle is the UAE's absolutely brilliant geopolitical strategy, positioning itself as the world's indispensable neutral middleman. I mean, just think about it. The world is getting more and more polarized, right? You've got trade wars, sanctions, superpowers clashing. So when all that is happening, where is the safest place to park your money and do business? You need a neutral zone, a safe harbor where everyone is welcome. The UAE built that harbor, and they do it with what you could call an all partners, no enemies strategy. It's really something to watch. They host American military bases, while at the same time they're a comprehensive strategic partner with China and use Huawei for their 5G. When the West put sanctions on Russia, the UAE became a safe place for Russian money. They simply refuse to pick sides in ideological fights. And that allows them to get maximum economic benefit from a world that's pulling itself apart. So you see, they're not really selling oil anymore. They're selling something much more valuable today. They sell access and they sell neutrality. So let's put all the pieces together. You take a government run on KPIs and staffed by the highest bidder. You add an algorithm that guarantees near-perfect security. And you top it off with a foreign policy of profitable neutrality. What does that give you? Well, it gives you a whole new model, the corporate state. It's a nation run with the same singular focus as a Fortune 500 company. The goal is efficiency and returns. In this model, citizens are basically the shareholders, and the giant expat population, they're the employees, all on performance-based contracts. Ideology is irrelevant. The bottom line is everything. That's really the simplest way to put it. The UAE is a giant business center that just happens to have the trappings of a country. You can't argue with the results. It's a ruthlessly efficient model. It has created incredible prosperity and stability in a very unstable part of the world. And it proves a kind of heretical idea, that maybe democracy isn't essential for economic efficiency. So while the rest of us are busy arguing about ideologies, this corporation just keeps paying out dividends. And that leaves us with a final question. Is this just a one-off, or is it the prototype for the future?